think we're okay now. Yeah, I think I got it. I think it's figured out. Woohoo! Ah, shit. There. Hell, I can even move the computer closer. So you can read it without having to bend and look. Because I'm not. Yay! Yep, you can hear the audio, you can hear us. Is the game louder than us? I want to ask that now. This is important to know. Because if the game is louder than us, I could turn the game down a little bit more. That's totally okay. I know my ears on the delay, so this makes this very hard to ask you questions. Okay, we're good for right now. Cool! I can finally start. The Meakashi-hen, the beloved cutthroat. Eye-opening chapter. Welcome to the world of Higurashi when they cry Kai. Finally reached the halfway point. From the viewpoint of the protagonist, try to find the truth behind the tragedy that unfolds. Difficulty is very high. Won't be easy to comprehend the motives of the perpetrator. Worry. Immediate worry.
Extreme immediate worry.
Oh God, why does it have to be like the little kid laugh? Ah, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Because little kids are the creepiest of them all.
She dropped her beads in the sand, so the girl cried. For 100 years, the girl searched the sands. They might be in the ocean, not the sand, so the girl cried. For 100 years, the girl searched the ocean. They might be in the mountains, not the ocean, so the girl cried. How many years will pass before the girl went, fuck! Shit! I didn't finish reading it.
Okay.
I was trying to hurry. 7 keys were attached to the keychain. Without knowing which key was the correct one, I had to go by instinct and try every key, one by one. On average, I'd reach the correct key within 3.5 attempts. I'd be fortunate if I could unlock the door within the first 3 keys, and I'd be unfortunate if I didn't. I had to think of the worst case scenario, getting the right key only on the very last attempt. I fought with my nervousness. My head ached from it. I put the key in and turned it. I just needed to repeat the small procedure several more times, but I couldn't stop shaking. Damn. A 3-year-old kid can do something this easy. So am I more childish than a 3-year-old? Whatever, I don't care if I'm clumsy. I just need to try all these keys. Even in the worst case scenario, the lock will open on the 7th try. No way. Reality isn't always the same as math. What happened was worse than my worst case scenario. None of the keys worked at all. I could feel the blood draining from my brain. Did I get the wrong set of keys? No, I definitely see a faint marking that says this set is for this door. Am I just reading it wrong? Should I go back to the key cabinet and look for the right one? It would mean a great loss of time. Just by being here, I'm already risking so much. Something that could ruin everything might happen at any moment. If I can't open this lock, do I have to go back to the administration office? If there were no other choice, it'd be a waste of time to spend another second here. The administration office wouldn't necessarily be empty at this time. Somebody might come in. Won't be able to look for the right key if that happens. I stood up quickly, as if electrified. I was almost in a panic, and so the sudden felt the urge to move. My instinct pushed me. I have to go back there as quickly as possible. It's dangerous to be here. It's also dangerous if somebody comes into the administration office. I pulled my head, making it as chilly as possible, to repress my fear. Except that's not how suppressing your fear works, but okay, whatever you say.
Pretty sure that isn't the way you suppress fear, you know.
Calm down, Shion.
Wait, why is...
Neon wouldn't panic in this situation.
Wait, are we in Shion's perspective right now? Wait.
Maybe I'm just mistaken. Why don't I try the keys one more time? The next moment I felt a faint vibration in the air. Somebody was walking somewhere in the hallway. If it were a normal situation, I would have known I wouldn't run into them, since the footsteps were very far away. But at the time, I couldn't think calmly. Ah, shit! Why am I panicking this much just because of footsteps? Calm down. Calm down. You should be feeling excited instead. Calm down. I just need to do what I have to do. I should ignore the footsteps because they're not an immediate threat. Pretend they aren't there. I have to listen for something much more important right now. Ah, shit. This key should be hard and cold, but it's palatable and hot. It feels like rubber. That sounds wrong. How can I stick this into the keyhole? Shion! Shit.
Phrasing.
It wasn't the key that was palatable. It's my fingers that were limp. Shit. Key sprung out of my hand and fell to the floor. It shouldn't have made any sound, because it was so pliable, but it made a tremendous metal noise as if someone pushed over a cupboard. Cling! The sound almost stopped my heart. I felt dizzy for a while. Looked around afterwards to carefully see if I caused any disturbance to the surroundings. Calm down, calm down. Nothing's changed. I don't hear anything. So am I safe? Calm down, calm down, calm down. Wait, I don't hear anything. What about those footsteps in the distance? Calm down, calm down. Are they looking for me after they notice the sound? Oh, shit, what is that sound I'm hearing? Is my sweat dripping on the floor? Shut up, shut up, shut up. I hear the sound of my sweat. Calm down, calm down, calm down, calm the fuck down! I have to clarify. This isn't a prison or detention center. It's a private school. Not a normal one, though. It costs a fortune just to get in. It's a boarding school that provides education from elementary school to university. Being for girls only, rather than a school, you could say it's a factory that manufactures ladies. Some of my classmates here have never even used public transportation. Really, it isn't normal. To me, saying, "How nice to see you," instead of just saying hi is already insane. And calling the teachers sisters gives me the creeps. I hate the morning and evening prayers, to say nothing of the Sunday Mass. I don't want to memorize the Bible passages, and the Holy Ghost gives me a rash. The Holy Ghost gives me a rash.
How the hell does the what?
Because she's pretty much going to a Christian boarding school.
Yuck.
I know, right? If I stayed in this institution, which is what I call a place, for many years, I'd either go crazy or be brainwashed. Most of the girls choose to be brainwashed, but I can't do that. After all, I was more impressed by the political schemes and international trade behind religious propaganda than by the love of God of which the Bible teaches. Because of that, I'd been treated as a problematic child from the beginning. I experienced lots of disadvantages as a result. I realized that quickly, so I superficially pretended to be normal. However, I got tired of acting, so I started to reveal my true self from time to time. Became a problematic child once again. People started to treat me differently once again. It's fun to misbehave, but I wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't do anything for me in the long run. Fuck.
Words.
Yeah. So why did I act that way? Why, even though I knew it was going to backfire on me later on? After examining my emotions, I realized I completely had it with my surroundings. I was afraid of being brainwashed in this institution. I can't live here. I won't let them brainwash me. 6 months ago, I decided to escape this place. The moment I made up my mind, I started to feel alive again. I acted ladylike in order to deceive the sisters. I pretended because pretending became fun once I had set my goal. It gave me the creeps that they told me with smiles that it's God's influence that I started to behave religiously. I laughed at them behind their backs. I took on my classmates' duties in order to understand the layout of the school and the schedules of the staffs and guards.
Wait, why does a private school need guards?
Because it's super duper expensive to get into. I soon found out that the security of the school was immensely tight because there were many daughters of important people living there. There you go. There's your answer.
Oh, okay. That was a quick answer.
Yeah. The guards walked their beat randomly. There were surveillance cameras everywhere. The system that kept out intruders, ironically, also worked to prevent escapees. But that excited me instead.
How would that be exciting?
I simulated how to avoid all the surveillance in my head many times. I drew an escape route in the corner of my notes during class and tested if it worked. I strove to acquire any necessary skills for the escape. It was all fun. After all, the situation was cathartic for me. That's who I am. No matter how hard they tried to brainwash me, I'd never change. I had been waiting for the moment of my escape, preparing physically and mentally. First, I needed the courage to escape. I had to be confident of the plan. I had to think deeply about it. I also need skills in physical strength. I imagined all the possible obstacles and trained myself. It was funny because I was finally able to enjoy gym classes, even the long-distance runs. I needed a perfect plan, as well as the physical strength and skills necessary to execute it. Also, supported by those things, I needed determination. Determination.
Oh my god.
I made sure that I had all I needed and executed the plan. I started to plant a seed in school before the appointed day. Seed was a rumor that one of the male teachers was having a relationship with a student.
Oh, Jesus.
I won't go into details now, but that can turn into an enormous problem in the school. School is limited to girls precisely because their parents want to avoid those kinds of problems. Those parents are mostly important people from various positions. If their romance was a fact and was leaked to the public, the principal would have to commit suicide in shame. In fact, even that might not be enough.
Burn the school to the ground.
In the world of girls, rumors spread fast, especially when they're separated from boys and are obsessed with dirty thoughts.
Wait, girls become obsessed with dirty thoughts?
I'm not sure. I don't think it's the same kind of dirty thoughts you and I think of. So this kind of rumor goes around real quickly. The sisters tried to get rid of that kind of rumor, and they wanted students not to be swayed by it. But apparently, they're the ones who were most swayed by those rumors. This means that I managed to make them fugitively deal with something shady without contacting families or the authorities. So if I disappeared in these circumstances, it looked like I ran away with some teacher. All the male teachers would deny it, of course, but for the school wouldn't believe that what they said so easily. After all, there's a dirty rumor going around. By the time the school finds out about my escape, after they eliminate all other possibilities, I'll be somewhere safe. I tried hard to spread the rumor that I was involved in a forbidden romance as widely as possible. The sisters questioned me a few times, but since the romance was something I had made up, they couldn't find anything. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't find any evidence. After 3 months, I was certain that I had created a solid foundation. I swapped after-dinner duties with my classmates so that I could adjust my schedule on this day. I was even able to fill them with suspicion about me by doing that. Now they definitely suspect that I ran away with some male teacher. Tonight was the night. Began my chores after dinner. After lights out, somebody will find out about my disappearance. My generous roommate would probably wait about 10 minutes before he reported me to his sister, but no longer than that. I had about an hour tops, but that's enough for me. You say as you drop the keys and start fucking up.
You say as you start immediately panicking.
Yeah. I took a step off my regular route. This is the first step towards my great escape. Calmed down and thought. The key shouldn't be wrong. This lock is old and firm. Isn't it possible that I put the right one in, but the lock is just stiff, and I only thought I got the wrong one? I realized that my nervousness was making me clumsy. The gloves that I was wearing to avoid leaving fingerprints must be getting in the way too. I should try the keys one more time. Picked the most probable one and gently inserted it into the keyhole. It's stiff. If I twist it too strongly, I might break the key. The moment I thought of giving up, I felt something in my fingertips. The key worked. Escape! Freedom!
Freedom!
I slowly opened the door. I could hear the crickets. I don't have to hesitate now. But somehow I'm reluctant to step outside. I can still make excuses up at this point. It might look awkward, but I still can. But if I take a step outside now, there can be no excuse. If the guards find me, they'll take me to the office immediately. There have been escape attempts before. It's not really so strange. I don't think I'm the only heathen here. It's understandable that there have been people before. But Balor? 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 Balor?
Belor.
Balor! Who couldn't fit in this place? So the school is well aware of the possibility of escapees. I've heard rumors about what happened to those who were caught while attempting to escape. I don't want to believe any of those stories, though. You see, all the school's horror stories involve students who attempted escapes. Whatever, bring it on. I'm not expecting to get a second chance anyway. There'll always be only one chance. Things get serious beyond this door. I psych myself up, push the door open. A strong smell was hanging in the air. Is that normal for the outside? I never smelled this strong, grassy smell before. Is there something going on? Do I have to be worried of it? Should I go back and wait for another chance? That's silly. There's nothing strange going on. That smell is something I smell every day. I just wasn't aware of it. That's true, isn't it? Even though I pretend to be cool, I'm nothing but a nervous wreck. Calm down, Shion. Qua was eating. Qua? Who's Qua? Qua? I can't rely only on the map inside my head for this point onward. I'm researching locations of all the surveillance cameras. I'm confident that I'm able to avoid all of them. But I'm not sure about the guards. They pick their patrol routes randomly, after all. I have to take a chance. QA? Quality? Oh! They were eating a sandwich.
Sandwich.
We're having chicken Alfredo later. I had my sandwich earlier. It was greasy and delicious.
But sandwich now.
No! I can hide myself in most places, but there's an area where there's nowhere to hide for several meters. That's a distinctly large distance, actually. I concentrated to keep my senses keen. Well, I have to depend on my luck in the end. Even if I do my best, the guards might find me by mere chance. Well, we plan our meals usually when I come to visit, so... On the contrary, I might be able to get away no matter how unwisely I choose to move if I'm lucky. And after all the effort, it just boils down to luck? This is a gamble after all. When I realized that, I got excited. Yes, this is a gamble. I'm trying my luck. This is a game to test the determination to change my life. If somebody fails to escape from the school, that means they didn't have enough luck to survive in the real world. That's not how luck works, but okay, Shion. But I'm different. I'm going to get out of here. I'm testing my luck. Here goes, Shion. I ignored the noisy bugs and concentrated only on suspicious sounds. I heard no threats. The loud sounds wasn't the bugs, it was my own heartbeat. Crunch. Even my own footsteps were so loud they could break my eardrums. With each and every step, my overactive imagination tormented me with the premonitions of unexpected run-ins with guards. Countless times that torture grew hard to bear, and I thought of running. If I broke into a run, the noise I made would only draw suspicion. If anyone heard running out of time and place where people should be, they would realize something abnormal was happening. But if the footsteps they heard were just walking, then they'd likely think nothing of it. Of course, I didn't plan on even letting them hear those footsteps. I tried to extend my senses to get as much information as possible. I didn't sense anyone's presence. I might have felt safer if I heard a guard in the distance. More than my senses might not be keen enough to detect everything. Somebody might be right behind me without me being aware of it. I didn't want to make any noise, so I stopped from time to time. It's like I'm constantly fidgeting. To stop or to run. Something within urged me to choose from... To choose. Can't choose to stop. Have to keep going quickly and stealthily. I'm already risking so much just by being here. Running, of course, would be absurd. Oh, I know that. The urge to run continued to bug me. My head was filled with those thoughts as I went through this dangerous territory. I succeeded in passing through without running into anybody. I couldn't help but sit for a moment and exhale the rotten air from my lungs. My negative thoughts vanished quickly. Just a little more to go. Just a little more. Just through that brush over there is the fence that separates this place from the outside world. Once again, I strongly felt the urge to run. I suppressed that desire and carefully tackled the final step. The beautiful-looking fence didn't seem designed to prevent escapes. While I was worried that someone might see me climbing up the fence, it fortunately didn't happen. It's even possible that this fence might have a touch sensor. It's too late now. It doesn't mean anything now since I'm already climbing up. How would it have a touch sensor?
That is a really good question.
That's like this is only in the 1980s. It would make no sense for it to have a touch sensor. From the top, the fence seemed to be about 7 feet high. You have to go down carefully, just like when I climbed up. I knew that logically, but I couldn't think that way anymore. I chose to jump off without hesitation. Of course, I regretted my decision during the fall. I got scared because the flight was longer than I expected. Trumph! I didn't land beautifully. I fell into my butt. But there's nobody around to laugh, and I didn't have time to be embarrassed. I looked around to see if anybody heard my landing. Even the crickets weren't interested in the sound I made. I felt relieved. I looked at my watch. 5 minutes until 8 p.m. It's just a 15-minute escape. Putting a number to it really made it obvious how short it had been. Looking back, most of the time I was just asking myself questions and hesitating. I guess I worry too much. But I can't be too relaxed just yet. There's no guarantee that I fooled all the cameras. This place isn't a bank. There won't be a fire alarm going off even if the guards did see me. It's possible they're rushing this way right now. I can't enjoy the air freedom yet. I hid myself in the darkness and waited. There's still time left until the rendezvous. How'd she set up a rendezvous?
That is a really good question to which I really want an answer.
I want an answer too. I feel like these chapters are going to be a lot different paced compared to the last chapters of the last few games, because these are answer arcs, so these follow different rules. I watched the school premise while waiting, but it looked like nothing strange was going on. The building was lit up, and the beautiful Western-style architecture made it hard to believe that it was a school. It should be armed with electrifying wires, searchlights, and guard dogs like the prison it is. I thought I'd experience a surge of school memories in a situation like this, but it didn't happen. That sort of thing only happens when you have good memories. I have no good memories of the school, so there's nothing to remember. But if I could pick a series of images to recall, it'd be the luxurious dinners we had every night. So my memories would be nothing but international cuisine. Japanese, Chinese, French, and so on. What the hell? That's just too funny. I burst into laughter. Shion, now's not the time. At that point, I heard a car approaching. I crouched in the darkness. Plate number is the same as I was expecting. That's the car. I jumped out and rushed to the passenger side, then opened the door and got in. You wanna be Taiga-san?
Oh my god.
Yay!
Nice to see you, Shion-san.
The driver was a man of early old age. He'd be angry if he heard me say that, though. He thinks he's still middle-aged. He looked at my face and learned that I succeeded. He smiled. Ah, the air feels so fresh. I want to eat a burger before a start.
I heard they serve excellent food in the school, but I suppose you were served nothing but gruel, huh?
No way, dumbass. I was just kidding. Step on the gas if you have time to laugh at me.
As you wish.
Kasai really did laugh out loud. After telling me to buckle up, he accelerated. The cathedral-like school disappeared from the mirror in an instant. It disappeared so quickly I didn't have time for a surge of dinner memories. Goodbye, my lovely school days. I'm gonna go fill my stomach with junk food from now on. I'll forever be free from table manners you taught me. Ah! Serves you right. Except the... God damn it, Shion. As we drove, the scenery began to change. Scenery surrounded by vast fields of crops and few streetlights. It reminded me that this was just the countryside of Japan, not Europe.
I got some limes, Kasai.
Are you hungry? Would you like me to stop somewhere to eat?
That's okay, I already ate. I lied. I actually am a bit hungry. I didn't eat much at dinner to avoid slowing myself down with a full stomach. I appreciated Kasai's offer, but I didn't feel like taking the time to eat while we were still in enemy territory.
It's late, so you'll only find vending machines at the highway rest stops. Oh, I've heard there are hamburger and Odin vending machines nowadays.
Huh? What the hell? Will let dispense a cup and the ingredients like a coffee vending machine? That's gross!
I don't think it's like that. It usually comes in a can.
Sorry, I can't stand canned food.
Still? I thought you might have grown out of it.
I haven't because I can't. Shut up. Why are you laughing? Kasai chuckled. He must have been trying to help me relax. He isn't usually so talkative. Exhausted. I want to get some sleep. How do I recline this?
Look for the lever on the lower left part of the seat. Can you find it?
Oh, here it is. There we go. Poof! Kasai laughed again. Did I do something funny?
No. It's just the way you talk sounded like Mion-san.
Well, obviously, Mion and I are identical twins. We're perfect copies of each other. When I react to something, so will Shion. When Mion reacts to something in a certain situation, I'll react the same way. How's Sis?
I believe she's fine. I only see her when I bring her father to the family councils.
That's right, she doesn't live in our parents' home anymore. She's living with the hag in Hinamizawa now, isn't she?
She moved into the main house around the same time you started going to that school.
I responded with disinterest, even though I was the one to ask about her in the first place. The main house is where Onryu, the current leader of the Sonozaki family, lives. That's my grandmother, who I call a hag. But when we use the phrase the main house, that usually means more than just a dwelling. What Kasai refers to is the same thing. Did she change?
You mean Mion-san?
Yeah. I think she has to have changed if she lives so closely with the hag. Kasai chuckled again. He knows I hate my grandma.
I haven't noticed any changes.
Now just imagine Kasai with a giant fat cat on his lap while he's driving.
She's still the Mion-san, you know.
What about me? Did I change?
No, not at all.
Kasai responded quickly with a smirk. I haven't seen him for a while, though. It's not fun if he answers this quickly. I glared at him, and then he burst out laughing.
You haven't changed at all. That's admirable, since you've been in such a strict school for so long.
Damn it! Laugh as much as you want! I'm going to sleep!
There's a blanket in the back. Please make use of it.
Thanks. I grabbed the blanket and rolled up in it. I'm exhausted, but I can't go to sleep. It's strange. Or maybe not. I must be tired from the escape. It's just that I'm still feeling tense. Butterball! So I have to declare once again, if only to calm myself. I'm sleeping! I totally am!
Alright, it's the third time you said that. Do I have to give you permission to sleep?
You're talking too much! I can't go to sleep if you don't quiet down!
I apologize, Princess. I'll keep quiet now.
This interaction with Kasai reminded me of the old peaceful days in Okiyamiya. Well, I don't really know if I can call those days peaceful. We were in the middle of the dam protest back then, after all. We all united together, and now that I think about it, we pulled a lot of pretty dangerous stunts. Yes, that is me. If the authorities ever find out what I did, I'd never escape going to juvie. Why is the cigarette in Miura? Because it is. Well, at least half the people in Hinamizawa would be off to prison. We didn't think of them as criminal acts, though. It was a war. It might also have been a festival. A festival where every person in Hinamizawa joined together in protest. It was a struggle, but it was also fun. It was fun to throw stones at the SWAT team with everybody. We hid ourselves in somebody's home when they were chased after us. We'd even go crowd around the police station, demanding the release of our arrested comrades. When we snuck into the construction site and sabotaged it, it felt more like we were playing at war than conducting one. I got so excited back then. I felt united with my fellow members, even though they were strangers to me, and that memory warms my heart. Yes, the way it felt back then was like helping everyone to carry a sacred... I don't know that word.
Peliquin?
Peliquin?
That doesn't
You're the
sound
one who has a phone that can look that up. Peliquin through the village, getting all sweaty and exhausted together. Well, I mean, we have cats here. We just, if they feel like talking, they'll talk. Until we all collapsed face first on the ground and shared our excitement and cheers with unfamiliar faces over tea. Peliquin? But it had a Q. It had a QU.
I think it might be Rhea's version because she probably looked it up.
Fine. Fuck it, I don't have to read it again. I was just a kid back then. I remember accompanying young men who worked for my dad out to the village to do various bad things. I was arrested a few times. I didn't feel any different, though, than when I was called to the teacher's office for forgetting my homework. The other villagers were furious about the dam project, but for those of us who were kids at the time, it was a pretty fun memory. Ah, that's fair. Okay, fine. All that came to set an end a few years ago. It wasn't only the power of the protest that ended the dam construction project. The Sonosaki family and my dad's organization had worked secretly in the shadows. This is top secret information in the Sonosaki family, but it said that they may or may not have kidnapped the minister of the construction's grandson in order to blackmail him. The grandson was found a few days after the abduction. He was found in the mountains of Yokoichi. He didn't simply disappear, and he wasn't demoned away. That means some kind of deal was made secretly. A year after that, the dam construction plan was halted indefinitely. The police suspected the villagers' involvement and investigated, but they couldn't find any leads. Villagers never betrayed each other. They'd do anything to protect their fellow man. They fabricated fake alibis and fake evidence. It was easy to deceive the police. The car suddenly shook, snapping me out of it. It must have run over a bump or something. I suddenly realized my expression was a very happy one for some reason. Must be looking forward to going home.
Shion-san, are you awake?
What is it?
Would you like me to take you to the house in Okionomiya?
Where else would you be taking me? I answered straightforwardly with a frown. Kasai then also chose to reply straightforwardly.
It was the family head who decided on your enrollment in St. Lucia, and you ran away from there. You do understand the situation you're in.
The school the hag chose didn't fit me, that's all.
Shion-san.
I know. Shut up. As the head of the Sonosaki family, the hag's decisions were absolute. They're nothing like, say, the 3-second rule. Worse, the decision to confine me to an academy far away from the Sonozaki family was made before I was ever born. Shion was the name they gave me. My sister, Mion, was the character that means demon in her name. That was to signify that she was the successor of demons. In other words, that she'd be the successor of the Sonozaki family and its demonic bloodline. My name, Shion, has a character that means temple in it. That means that I was destined to take the veil and be confined in a temple. Thinking of that reminds me how much I hate this name of mine. For starters, the person known as Shion is abominable, being I can talk.
What is English?
A miserable pile of letters, but enough talk. How about you?
Exactly.
Amomio being in the Sonozaki family, because it meant that the family had 2 heirs. I don't have to cite countless historical examples to explain. It's easy to imagine how that could prove troublesome for succession. According to our long-held family traditions, one of the twins was to be strangled to death right after birth. Unbelievable, isn't it? What that means is that I have to be grateful just to be alive and breathing this day. I heard the hag actually put her hands around my neck right after I was born. I don't know what exchange took place in that moment. Perhaps some brave relative of mine managed to get her to stop. Or maybe she was in an extremely good mood that day. And then don't try to strangle me. We're twins. There's no apparent differences between us. But the first one out of the mother's stomach was named Mion. The second one drew the short straw and got named Shion. Everyone else was desperate to tell us apart, but we sisters just found that awfully ridiculous. There wasn't any difference between us. No one could tell us apart, even if we only switched hats. We wondered why all the grown-ups were trying to see the differences. All our fun as twins didn't last forever. One day they created an undeniable, clear distinction between Mion and Shion. Mion went to the main Sonozaki house to live with the hag and learn how to become the successor, and I was to be confined at St. Lucia's. I had no objections to Sis's inheritance. I used to be jealous, but now I feel like that having to learn about and follow the traditions would make me tired. I even feel sorry for Mion. So I'm not going to be a threat to the family, even if I'm back in Okiyamiya. But the hag doesn't seem to think that way. She thinks of me as some kind of evil omen. That's why she wanted to keep me away from her. It doesn't matter to me. I don't want to see her face either. I don't care if she doesn't allow me to enter Hinamizawa. She could charge me 10,000 yen per step I take there. But I want her to let me live in Okiyamiya, where I grew up. When I was little, I was in Hinamizawa, but I don't remember it much. And I'm not very attached to it. I do have good memories of my elementary school days in Okiyamiya. The town isn't very sophisticated, but I kind of like it there.
If you go back to Okiyamiya, somebody from the family will notice you, and then they'll report you to the main house.
Are you worried that the hag will hear about me? that might be a problem.
I hope you understand the situation.
What, Kasai? Are you telling me to go back to that awful place?
No, I'm not. What I'm trying to say is...
You want me to know whether I'm prepared or not.
I just hope you understand what might happen.
Well, I know what you mean. You will be held responsible for helping me escape if things go bad, right? You should caress your pinky finger while you can, Kasai, before they take it away from you.
You should look forward to being rolled up in a futon mat and thrown into the Onagafuchi swamp in that case. Maybe they'll send you to the torture room in the garden.
I heard there's a big torture room in the main Sonozaki house. Never seen it, though. I heard they used to torture and kill the enemies of the village in there. It's just awful, really. I hope I don't end up as a victim in that place. Okay, everything's going to be alright.
You really resemble your mother. And the way you take chances, I mean.
That's normal. She's my mom. My dad and mom will be furious if they find out about my escape. I'm more afraid of them than of the old hag. I don't want to go into details, but my dad is a part of the Yakuza. He's in charge of the organization which covers the Shishibon area. He's in a very important position. Okay, bye, Mayara.
Bye, Mayara.
So is Kasai here. He's an old friend of Dad, who really trusts him. I don't know if this is true, but I heard Kasai used to be very aggressive, though he's gentle now. I also heard he has tons of scars. He was in charge of a few large areas, but after he was injured badly in a fight, he retired. Now he's my dad's consultant, aka drinking buddy.
Seems like a pretty damn good life to me.
Yeah. He was my caretaker in childhood. Now I feel like he's my butler. First, I thought my dad asked him to supervise me, so I hated him. In time, I started to feel like he was on my side. This is just a hunch. But I think Kasai used to be in love with my mom. My dad, mom, and Kasai are in a love triangle. And my dad took the lead in the end. Kasai couldn't have my mom either, so he stayed around as my dad's friend. I can tell that from the way he acts. He's seeing my mom and me. That's why he says I look like my mom every now and then. Kind of gave me the creeps at first, but he isn't a bad guy at all. Yeah, it's actually pretty funny. I only found out after I got used to him. So when I thought about escaping, I naturally turned to him. I contacted him in the early stage of my plan and arranged to meet him today. You can call him a conspirator. It's not surprising he's worried about my return to Okiyamiya. Considering the rules and traditions, cutting off his pinky finger isn't too far from reality. I might be rolled up in a futon mat and thrown into the swamp for real, too. Even so, there's only one place for me to return. I'm going to Okiyamiya and nowhere else. That's my hometown. This might be kind of homesickness. I don't care what it looks like.
So, what are you going to do? The Sonozaki family is everywhere.
Well, I'll lay low for now. If somebody sees me, I'll tell them I'm Mion.
Then what?
Then, after things calm down a little bit, I'll start talking to my closest relatives. I know they'll be on my side. I know some people who covered for me when I had to fight with my dad once.
I see. You're trying to create a fait accompli so that the Sonozaki main house will have to accept you later on. I hope that works.
Yeah, well, many people were opposed to the idea of enrolling me in that school. That decision was obviously made because of the hag's hatred towards me. Don't you agree, Kasai?
Well, yes. I thought the decision was excessive.
She couldn't make the right decision because she was suffering from menopause. All the fuss surrounding the damn protest drove her nuts. Kasai smiled. Couldn't go to sleep after all, even though I was rolled up in a blanket. Even though I told Kasai to shut up, I kept talking to him. In time, I got tired of talking. So I could feel the car run smoothly on the highway. Kasai spoke to me again.
Shionsan, look.
I was so tired that I ignored him. I wonder what he wanted me to look at, but I wasn't that interested. I opened my eyes slightly and saw a sign quickly pass by. Kasai probably wanted me to see that sign. It had an illustration of azaleas around the letters that said, "Welcome to Shishibon City. My hometown is coming right up." Chapter 5. Meikashi. Oh, this is a piano rendition of you. Okay, that's what it is. He tapped my shoulder, don't mind me.
They can't see us.
I know they can't see us. That's why I had to say you tapped my shoulder. Who do you think I am, hon? What's really interesting is the anime actually had the next chapter play first, and then it had this chapter.
That's... Wait, what?
Yeah.
That's
it had
weird.
It had Rena's chapter play first, and then Shion's chapter.
That's weird.
Well, to be fair, Shion's chapter gets gruesome. Yay! Did we complete the first chapter? Yay! We received new tips! Hooray!
We got through that chapter really fast.
Goodbye, sister. Notebooks beginning. June 1982. Satoshi Hojo disappeared several days after the Watsunagashi festival. There were 3 possible reasons for his disappearance. One possibility is that it was an accident. Dead bodies sometimes end up in irrigation channels a few months after hit-and-run incidents. But since the police did a thorough search of the area and hadn't found his body, this possibility seems small. The second possibility is a self-motivated disappearance. Satoshi Kun had been living in dire circumstances. His close friends actually heard him imply he might run away. It No, I'm pretty sure it went the other way around. Like, it even says that on the wiki. The police thought he skipped town after he killed his aunt. It seems plausible, considering that aspect, but the police arrested another person for the murder, so this hypothesis must also be considered false. The last possibility is that he was involved in a series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa. It's also called the Curse of Odashido-sama. He fell victim to it and disappeared. Unless Odashido-sama's occult powers are actually verified, this curse might be the act of humans. It's only natural to assume that Satoshi-kun was made to disappear by someone's will. The question is, whose? The possibilities are quite limited. The culprit is either a member of the Sonozaki family, a member of the three families, or one of their many relatives. The police can assume that easily. You need to think beyond that. Who did it? How did it happen? And why did it have to be done?
Who done it?
Yeah, why did Satoshi-kun fall victim? What was the motive? Who gave out that order? Who actually did it? The mastermind, the culprit, and the truth. You all are within reach of my grasp. Maybe I'll find them right behind my back. But even so, I can't reach everywhere. There are parts of my back I have to make an effort to reach, clenching my teeth and cracking my joints. That's not right. I know Rena's arc is supposed to be before this one. Because Yeah, and the second season starts with Shion's arc.
Yeah, I distinctly remember that because I did watch the first season of the anime, and I remember it closing out with Rena's arc there.
Yeah, and Kai starts with Shion's answer arc. So Meikashi is 22. You have them confused. Because that's what starts the second arc. Clenching my teeth and cracking my joints so that the tips of my fingers can barely touch them. The truth is hidden in places like those. I'm writing this because I need to organize my thoughts and memories. Nobody will read it other than myself. But if somebody does, that means that either I threw these notes away because I no longer needed them, or I fell victim to the curse of Odashido-sama in the middle of my attempt to solve the mystery. If it was the former, that's okay. But if it's the latter, please, I want you to help me. Please help this powerless young girl. Quick, Hen, look it up. Look up the order. Or hand me my tablet, either or.
Cat.
AD 1982. Okay, let me. The fifth year of the series, the mysterious death in Hinamizawa known as Odashido-sama's curse, 1 year prior to Keiichi Mayabara's transfer. No, Meikashi is not in the first season. It's in the second season. What's in the first season is the Watanagashi arc. That's in the first season. I didn't hear a wake-up chime. I'm not in school anymore. My brain is half asleep, but I'm aware of that. Waking up the same time as the chime would go off at school doesn't feel good. Can't go back to sleep after this. So I'm not going to live a torturous school life. Fuck, I missed part of that line. Torturous school life anymore. I can make today either happy or boring.
Oh no, wait! It is Meakashi-hen that comes up first.
No, I mean in the original releases of the game chapters. Yes.
Oh.
I'm meaning how it was shown in the anime. Because in the anime, it's the opposite way. But, no, what?
16. Start of Shion's chapters. Because that's a time killing.
Yeah, that's time killing. What? Then why does the...
Because the visual novels are weird.
Well, no, but I could have sworn that the visual novel stated that one of these were put out beforehand. But no, both of these series appear in the second one, not the first. weird. That is... What? What the fuck? God damn it. Meikashi is not in the first. It is in the second, I swear. It is in the Kai arc, god damn it. The second season does not start with the anime only arc. I swear it. I can't. It doesn't line up with how episodes work.
Well, that's how it works out, apparently.
Fucking, I'm angry now. Yeah, that's really positive. I feel like I'm alive for the first time in a while. I don't.
Oh.
Didn't have any other clothes, so I'm still wearing the school track uniform. It's supposed to have been designed by some famous Italian person, but it just looks plain to me. It doesn't really feel great to still be enclosed in that school. I want to enjoy my freedom as soon as possible. Especially don't want to walk around outside wearing it. I should have Kasai bring me some new clothes later. I should think of redecorating this room. After all, this is going to be my castle from now on. This is a room in a gorgeous apartment building in the suburbs of Okiyama. Property is one of the retailer in my dad's conglomerate, obtained after foreclosure due to some sort of dispute. Most of the residents moved out during that, so while there are plenty of rooms, it's a lonely complex that feels devoid of people. Plus, with the exception of the management and a scant one or two others, all the residents are shady-looking people connected to my dad. It probably wouldn't be much longer before the victorious residents were driven out. It was virtuous neighbors. The apartment I'm living in used to be the room they'd used for viewings, so it looks like a room in a business hotel. It's fully furnished, but lacking in daily necessities. I'll buy those things over time, though. It's better that way anyway. It'll make me feel more like my own room. I nodded to myself. It might have looked stupid, but it helped psych me up. At the school, there was a TV only in the common room, and we weren't allowed to watch any cable channels. I zapped through all the channels as a form of emancipation. Sorry. It's early in the morning, so nothing interesting was on. But I enjoyed it anyway. Commercials are fun to watch.
No, they aren't. Commercials are boring.
Why were the last two important story arcs put in the goddamn freaking first season? I mean, I realize that goddamn fucking Meikashi-hen is really fucking long, but I'm still very angry.
Because fuck Satoko's answer arc, apparently.
Well, no, because the thing is that, no, I'm actually thinking of the penultimate arc. Which actually, like, shows the story of, something still seems off. Because I could have sworn that they changed the opening at that point. Like, I could have sworn they changed the opening by that point, because they didn't have it as the main Higurashi opening in that point. I'm pretty sure they had switched it over to the,
Maybe we're just remembering it wrong.
No, at that point.
Maybe we're just remembering it wrong.
So I watched an anime.
How many years ago was it that we watched that?
Shut up! You didn't watch it with me. I watched it by myself.
How many years ago now?
It came out in, like, what, 2009? Meakashi!
Good morning, Chion-san. Did you sleep well last night?
Fuck no! Sleeping on the couch was a bit too uncomfortable. As a Japanese person, I want to sleep in a futon on the floor. This pickled radish is good.
That's good to hear. Please let me know what you need later on.
What's good to hear? The fact that I was uncomfortable?
I'll try to get as much as I can.
Oh, good. You mean the pickle radish. Oh, thanks. Oh, but you don't need to worry so much about me. I choose this life myself anyway. And your wallet won't last if I start extorting you, right? I have to be serious about my plan. I can't let myself take advantage of Kasai's wallet forever. I think I'm going to start a part-time job. I have to earn my own living. This is the life I chose, so naturally I have to take care of it myself.
That's reassuring to hear. But are you sure? If you go outside, eventually someone in the family will discover you.
I gave that a little thought, which is why I'll need Mion's help. Kasai, would you mind calling the main house for me? When Mion answers, pass me the receiver.
Oh, well, whatever you say. What could be your plan?
Kasai dialed the number. It's funny to me that we're calling the main house, even though that's the place I most want to avoid at the moment. Hello? Good morning. Oh, that's you. Look.
Hello. Good morning. Is this Mion-san? It's been a while. This is Kasai. Yes. Good morning. Could you hold for a moment? I'm letting someone else on the phone.
Take the handset. Hello? Can you tell who this is? That voice! But that can't be true! Shion's still supposed to be confined at St. Lucia's! You can't be her! Yeah, they forbid outside calls at the academy. But you're talking to me right now. Even my dim-witted older sister should understand what that means. Did you sneak out of the school? How? That's not important. I really missed you, sis. Shion! That was as far as I could take it, and Mion had hit her limit too.
Boing.
They both burst out into laughter, unable to keep our act. It's been a while since we laughed out loud at each other like this. It's been forever, Shion! Seriously, what's happened with you? There's not much else to it. I haven't lied or anything. Wait, then you really ran away? Oh, great job. Security wasn't tight enough to keep me locked up in there. Maybe the school should be grateful you escaped quietly. If you were serious, it'd be easy for you to blow up the whole building to make your escape. Well, I couldn't have done that, but I might have set it on fire. Kasai smiled at me in amazement, his face a blend of amusement and exasperation. Is it okay to talk to you now? Yeah, it's alright. Granny is out for a lesson. She's coming home later in the evening. That's good. We should get together and talk soon. Just over the phone for today, though. Okay. Did anybody report my escape to our grandmother? Nope. We've heard nothing. I passed along all the calls and guests to the family main house now, so no news reaches Granny without going through me. I'm sure she doesn't know. Wow. That's awesome. You really sound like the next leader of the Sonozaki family. You know, I don't like that. You should have taken my place. You're the one with the demon, aren't you? Well, keep giving it your all. I'll be rooting for you from the shadows. Anyway, that's not important right now. You sound so indifferent. Well, that's okay, I guess. If you hear anything about me, give Kasai a call, okay? I'd like to give you my number here, but I'll keep it a secret for the time being. Sorry. Alright. If Granny hears you fled from school, there'll be all kinds of trouble. I'll be on the lookout for now, and I'll let Kasai know if something happens. Thanks. I also have a favor to ask. I figured you would. Oh, money's out of the question, okay? I never thought I could pester you for money. I just wanted to ask you for a little help with my part-time job. I see. So that's it then. What exactly do you need? We can communicate fast in a situation like this. We don't have to get into details because we know what's on each other's mind. Uncle Yoshiro's on my side, isn't he? I'm going to try and see if I can't get a part-time job in one of the businesses he owns. And I'll call you when I know my shift. So I just have to disappear while you're working, right? It's a little taxing. What are you saying, sis? Are you turning down your only sister's request? Seriously? I pretty much know everything about the visual novels and all that stuff. Because, like, even though I've read the mangas and whatnot, I've done plenty of research on Higurashi. Mike's the only one who doesn't know everything.
because I've only watched the first season of the anime at best.
You only watched part of the first season of the anime.
Part of the first season of the anime.
Like, you don't know the truth of what happened. You didn't even know, like, the truth about this chapter. Alright, I'll do it. Wouldn't want to see how you'd retaliate if I turned you down. Thanks. I'll buy you a cake from Shilake's birthdays. I'll throw in tons of pretty tarts, too. Shion. Shilake's birthday closed last fall. Huh? Is that so? Yeah, the owner had a stroke. He reopened the store once, but he got sick again, so he had to shut it down. I see. It's a shame. I won't be able to eat their Mont Blanc cakes from my heart's content anymore. I was disappointed that my favorite cake shop had closed down. More so that this town had changed without my knowing while I was gone. It was kind of regrettable. Are there any other changes that I don't know about? Yeah, there are some. I'll tell you when we meet up next time. Thanks. I'll tell you all about my school life. Let's set a date. I'll call you. Alright. I'll see you then. Mion? What is it? How are you? I'm fine. I'm glad to hear that. I'm hanging up now. Okay. See you soon. It's really been a while since I last talked to her. I put down the phone and heaved a sigh as Kasai brought in some tea.
So, how did it go?
Do you remember Uncle Yoshiro, who is in favor of me staying? I'll talk to him about my escape and ask him if he can hire me at work at one of his stores.
Are you sure? Some other relative might find out.
That's why I asked this a favor. I'll contact her when my shift is set, and she'll disappear while I'm working. Do you get the picture? Kasai looked puzzled. It's not really that difficult to grasp. It's simple. If somebody finds me at work, I'll tell them that I'm Mion. Do you get it now? Normally people wouldn't buy this kind of plan, but Kasai knows too well how easy it is for my sister and me to trade places.
That's audacious, or shrewd, I should say. I'm impressed.
Is that a compliment, Kasai? Kasai looked amazed. If things go south, it'll affect him too. Considering the rules of my dad's profession, he won't be able to get away with just a mere apology. That's why he doesn't want me to do anything too risky. I think I have to make it up to him, since he helped me escape even knowing that risk. Oh, it's Angel Mort. It's Angel Mort. It's Angel Mort. Alright, no problem. If I find someone talking bad about you, I'll beat them up. Thank you so much. I knew I could rely on you, Uncle Yoshiro. Uncle Yoshiro pounded his chest with his fist after offering me his reassurance. He seemed glad that I turned to him first. I'll be happy to help, since I'm so impressed that you're trying to support yourself. If you were here for money, I'd turn you into your grandmother right away. What? You're scaring me, Uncle. I knew he was reliable. He understood my situation straight away and promised to help. Manager, here's the shift chart. I'll put it here. One of the store clerks brought out a work schedule. There are many things I'm unfamiliar with written on it. So, how much can you work? That depends on our respective schedules. I hope I can get in when I want to. And that sounds a little irresponsible, but I know you're in a difficult situation. And depending on Mion for my work, our schedules have to match. Of course, Uncle Yoshiro understood that, but I also knew that he couldn't afford a selfish part-timer who only works when she wants to. In the end, he decided to hire me as an office helper, not an official worker. As a temp, I wouldn't have a work schedule. My uncle also decided to pay me out of his own pocket. It's fine as long as I can make enough to support myself. Sure. I expect to get what I'm paying for, okay? And don't call me uncle in the office either. Alright, manager. Thanks for hiring me. Good, you get it. Once all the business talk was over, my uncle hounded me with all kinds of questions. He asked me things like, what was it like in the prestigious boarding school? And so on. Apparently, there were all kinds of rumors going around about St. Lucia Academy I was confined to. Everyone was curious about it. I added a few embellishments of my own as I explained how unordinary life at school was. My uncle took extreme delight to hear all the little details about life in a secret garden for girls. Horny bastard. Once my uncle was satisfied, it was my turn to ask all kinds of questions. My want to know if anything peculiar had happened while I was gone. I wouldn't be able to act like Mion unless I could fill in the gap of information left in the past 2 years. There haven't been any big changes. It's been quiet since the end of the dam conflict. I went to the academy only a little bit after they froze the project. There was still a bit of tension then. Even after they shut down the construction, things were still tense because the project wasn't entirely cancelled. But the Onigafuchi Guardians disbanded about a year later. There was a big ceremony held at the shrine. That's when the dam conflict officially ended. That's right after I was imprisoned. Is everybody slacking now that the conflict is over? I guess you all had fun playing at war back then during the dam protest, didn't you? Try to imagine how much suffering the adults went through every time they had to come pick up their kids from the police station. Oh, I can't deny that. It was like a festival for us. Uncle Yoshio seemed exasperated at how differently kids and adults treated the conflict. Oh yeah, there was the dismembered murder, wasn't there? The one that fucking jerk of a construction manager got split into pieces. They still haven't caught the culprit behind that, have they? Did they finally catch him? Oh, come to think of it, I don't think they've caught him yet, no. That happened on the night of Nagashi, didn't it? I remember everyone making a fuss about it being Oda Shiro-sama's curse. That was purely scary for us kids. Pretty scary for us kids. Yes, Oda Shiro-sama's curse. That happened the year after, too. That's right. That was scary too, wasn't it? Who was it again? The guy who supported the dam died in an accident, right? Hojo, wasn't it? And it happened one day on the Nagashi once again. Everyone went crazy, saying it had to be a curse. It was horrifying. Definitely. The construction manager that everyone hated was killed and dismembered on the night of the Nagashi festival. That incident, on its own, was more than intense enough for us kids. Worse, part of his body was never found, which has made it almost a ghost story among us. We seriously believe that the severed right arm was roaming in search of the body it belonged to. Just imagine, like, a floating right arm. Ooh!
Give me back the rest of my
body!
Wait, how the hell does an arm talk?
Give me back the rest of my body! And take long for the rumor of Oda Shiro-sama's curse to become a topic of discussion among occult researchers and the like. I did the whole hand puppet thingy. Give me back the rest of my body! Considering the circumstantial factors, even so, the rumor faded away after about a year. After the dam project was officially frozen, we held Nagashi purely as a festival. But the curse struck again. The victim was a pro-dam activist who had lived in Hinamizawa by the name of Hojo. He and his wife were on a trip when they fell from a cliff to their deaths. It was considered an accident. Technically, police were still searching for the wife's body. If I remember right, they never did find it, did they? Once again, the man most worthy of Oda Shiro-sama's curse fell victim on the night of Nagashi festival. So the fuss over Oda Shiro-sama's curse rose up again. Until then, Oda Shiro-sama wasn't considered very important. At least in the world of us kids, it was just the name of an object of worship in the shrine, nothing more than that. I'd seen boys peeing on the academy, and I once stuck my hand into the offertory box. The existence of a god didn't matter much to us. But after 2 consecutive occurrences, the kids no longer doubted the existence of a curse. We were all shaking in fear of Oda Shiro-sama. Everybody suddenly became interested in the old stories about him, too. We quietly listened to the musty old stories the elders had to tell. And we started genuinely believing in the tales of Oda Shiro-sama's miracles, which any of us would have laughed away before. Oda Shiro-sama's rules were awfully simple and clear. Enemies striding into Hinamizawa will be cursed. Villagers leaving the village will be cursed. But to find the village was terribly vague. Were we never allowed to leave Hinamizawa village? Was going to Okiyamiya still safe? Was a single step going to be out? Was a 3-day, 2-night hot spring trip still safe? We kids tried to draw a line. It was decided in the end that if you had a house in Hinamizawa, Okiyamiya, you were safe. It was okay to go on trips if you had a house in either area. I know it's weird, but those are the rules made up by kids after all. According to those rules, I'd been cursed, since I lived at a boarding school in such a remote area. I couldn't say it out loud because I felt embarrassed. In fact, I was a little scared of the curse. Yeah, it happened again the year after. Sure is scary what happened in 2 years in a row. I still believe in Oda Shiro-sama's power. Shion-chan, what are you saying? Don't you know? No. About what? Oh, right. You were at that school before it happened. That's why you don't know. Uncle Yoshiro grimaced as if he had said too much, as though he had mentioned something I shouldn't know about. What is it? You can't leave me hanging like that. Well, I think you're mature enough now. Hey, if you think my body looks underdeveloped, you should see an eye doctor. Either that or you're a pedo. Okay, we'll talk. Happened again the year after that. What happened? What are you talking about? Tick. When I was very little, I always had this tick before I heard something bad. It was like a gnome who lived inside me was giving me a warning. Like he was poking me with a small needle. No. When I felt this tick before my parents called me, it was either chide me or tell me something bad. So I used to run away when I felt it. My sense seemed to have grown dull over the years. Even though my gnome poked at me, I just sat there. It happened again the year after the death of the Hojos. Last year, in other words. Did it happen on the day of Watsunagashi? Again? 3 years in a row? That's right. You know there's a shrine in Hinamizawa, the Fuyure shrine? The priest suddenly died on the night of the festival. He said that the cause of death was an unknown illness. The same night, his wife threw herself into the swamp. There was a big uproar. The mayor even had to hold an emergency meeting. These chapters are weirdly paced.
They are paced to go really fast.
Oh.
It's kind of throwing me off a little bit.
Yeah, no, I'm not used to having this many cut-ins. This many cuts in it. It's very weird.
Might be a good thing, though.
I guess. I mean, it's trying to get us into the main action of it. I get that. I don't think the bit about the illness is true, but his death was very sudden. The priest was busy preparing for the festival, and he got sick around that time. So I guess he died of a heart attack or something. But that's just crazy that someone died on the day of the Watsunagashi again. It's the 3rd time in a row. It's unbelievable that so many people have died on the exact same day. The coroner didn't find anything unusual about the cause of death, so nobody suspected that anything was wrong. But you're right that the whole situation is abnormal. All of the people who were likely to be cursed died on the day of the festival. There must be something behind this. Whether it's conspiracy or a curse, there has to be. I decided to meet up with Mion at the library near the Okemiya train station. It's not that I don't trust Mion, but I don't want to let her know where I live. Not many people use this library, so I don't see anybody from Hinamizawa here. It's very convenient for meeting someone in secret. Unless you're Oshi. At which point Oshi will follow you everywhere because he's an asshole.
It's like, I see you up to no good. I'm gonna follow you.
Hey. Get out of here, Oshi. Hey.
Hey, you being evil?
No.
You are.
I remember you. After we discussed my life plan and work schedule, we moved to small talk. I've been away from this town for years. Things had changed. I asked Mion about those changes in detail in order to fill the gaps. While talking about various things, I brought up what Uncle Yoshiro had told me about Odashiro-sama's curse. Even before I left town, the curse had already struck twice. The dismemberment murder on the first year left quite an impact. And the year after, the pro-dam activist couple fell off the cliff on the day the villagers were enjoying their first Watsunagashi festival since the dam project was indefinitely frozen. This one left quite the impact. The evil construction site manager was punished, and the next year the trader of the village met the same fate. If it had happened only once, people would have concluded it was just a bizarre coincidence. If it happened 2 years in a row, people were far more likely to believe it was a curse. I know up to that part. After I left town, the curse struck again for the 3rd time. People talked about the curse more intensely than ever, both in Hinamizawa and Okemiya. I have to rethink this. Odashiro-sama's curse has drastically gained credibility while I was away. Still unclear with the first 2 incidents, but after it continued for 3 years straight, people's doubts changed to convictions. Even though the priest who died in the 3rd year wasn't an enemy of the villagers, the fact that people in Hinamizawa didn't care for him much added even more credibility to the idea. It was more like he didn't want to get involved, and they were all looking to him for support. Wasn't the priest hated by a few, especially by the committee members? Yeah, they criticized him for being a fence-sitter. Toward the end of the dam conflict, the protesters were all taking aggressive stances, so they didn't like how soft he was being. The priest had looked strict and scary, The way he spoke was always so formal. But in reality, he was very warm and reserved. Maybe it was because he was a son-in-law, having married into his family. I'm sure the priest and his personality were perfect fit for managing the shrine that used for summer festivals and village meetings. But that gathering spot style atmosphere of the shrine changed completely when the dam war broke out and became the headquarters of the Yonigafuchi Guardians. Prior to the dam protests, hardly anybody worshipped Otoshiro-sama. Of course, the devout elders prayed worship to him, but the average person treated our god like how you'd treat fortune-telling. As the dam protest began, Otoshiro-sama was suddenly hauled out as a symbol of the village's resistance. Tracing the Otoshiro-sama faith back to its roots, it was an exclusive, elitist faith that believed its members were descendants of a holy ancestor, different from the masses at the foot of the mountain, and those tainted masses should have never come near the village. Of course, such self-centered ideology wasn't acceptable anymore in this peaceful post-war Japan, so this doctrine was abandoned over time. Still, that idea remained, and they trudged it back up to fan the flames of nationalism and unite the town against the dam project. With the revival of those ideas, things only grew more radical by the day. But it didn't take very long for the Yonigafuchi Guardians to become aggressive. After that, we were in a state of war. 100 million, burning as one, kill the white savages, want naught but victory. Adults and kids both were gnawing at the bit, avid to repel the foreign invaders. Describing it like that makes it sound kind of awful, like a reminder of the dark times of wartime Japan. But like I said before, for us kids, it felt less like a war and more like a village-wide festival. Yet, despite calling it a festival, dissenters were treated coldly. Their heartlessness lived up to the expression wartime regime. The Hojo couple were voicing their acceptance of their dam project in the midst of that atmosphere were truly brave. And on the second year of the curse, they died in an accident. Everyone believed it was Otoshiro-sama's curse without question. So they were branded traitors and enemies of the village. The Hojo couple faced worse than just being ostracized as traitors. Someone gave them the cold shoulder and talked behind their backs. The only person who didn't treat them badly was the priest. While the priest never objected to the anti-dam movement, he also never objected to the Hojo couple's advocacy of accepting the government's eviction and restitution for building new lives. Those unforgivable Hojos became a slogan of the three families, especially the Sonozaki, united the village by turning them into scapegoats. So they must have found it very shameful to have a fellow member of the three families approve of that, especially when it was the priest of the shrine that had become a symbol of the dam project. As essential figures in Hinamizawa, the three families are the backbones of the Yonigafuchi Guardians. I thought it was the Yonigafuchi Defense Alliance.
I thought it was supposed to be that too. I could be wrong though.
No, I'm pretty sure it was the Yonigafuchi Defense Alliance. At least that's what they were called. So a difference of opinion was undesirable, and the priest was never accused of anything. Secretly, people whispered he was a heretic. He was unfit to serve as Otoshiro-sama's priest. But Otoshiro-sama's curse would soon strike him down, along with other rumors. Don't you think the priest was more mature than those around him? He was pretty cool, managed to keeping his head and remain neutral while everyone else around him grew fervent. I thought Mion would share my opinion when I chimed back in, so when Mion gave me a forced smile and didn't agree with me, I was taken by surprise. If he were real mature, I think he would have cooperated with the others. He should have appeased them. He wasn't just the head priest, he was also the head of the Furuya family. It's a time when all of Hinamizawa needed to be united, so having one of the families who were supposed to serve as examples disturbed that harmony was... well, that should be called mature. It's hard for me to tell. I was taken aback. I barely managed to say the following. Even though we're identical twins, we still had our very own unique traits. Every now and then our opinions differ, but usually only over some trivial matter. Never had a difference of opinions this big. It wasn't an enjoyable feeling. I decided to probe her some more. I don't like the word you use, appease. What are you trying to say? Are you saying the priest should have thought of the villagers as a whole and kept his opinions a secret? Meaning people shouldn't assert the self before the whole? I'm not going that far. It's just I thought that as a member of the three families, he should have acted more carefully. That's what I mean. Mion faltered a bit as my tone grew more like a cross-examination. Realized I was speaking a bit too harshly. What Mion expressed was probably the more mature opinion on our scale. When everyone else needs to work together to stand up for a vast enemy like the government, people should refrain from actions that would destabilize that alliance. Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, I don't know why it suddenly changed, because, yeah, it was called the Onigofuchi Defense Alliance, so... Writing out and reading it now, I can understand that. But I wasn't mature enough to agree at such a totalitarian idea. Or maybe it wasn't me at all. It was Mion who had made that mature judgment. We've been separated for over a year. I've been away from the town. In the meantime, Mion had been training to take over the hardship of the Sonozaki family. She had been treated as such even before I was confined to that institution. She sat next to the hag in ceremonies and in meetings. She took her place when the hag was absent. But that was just it. We were never that different. Mion had become very like a successor since I've been gone. Uh-huh. You sound like a grown-up now. She seemed to get what I was implying. Am I thinking like Granny now? That's good. You're the successor. You should think like the rest. You've definitely learned the art of ruling. I never learned anything like that. I'm just trying to act like her. You can do it easily, too. I don't want to. That's your role. Well, don't try too hard or you'll tire yourself out. I didn't mean to be cold, but Mion seemed to take it that way. She smiled as if trying to pacify me. I smiled gently back at her. Sis, I mean Mion. What? What is it? Our separation has always been tough. Our names, the places where we live, and our bodies. Mion looked down with a serious face, but then looked right back up. Maybe you think I'm jealous of that, but I'm not. We used to have some disagreements, but they were always small and forgettable. You don't have to feel sorry for anything. Up until birth, we were perfectly equal. Right after birth, we were separated by the grown-ups' priorities. I used to get mad about it when I was little. There's no denying that. But we don't have to start a disagreement over it. Mion seemed to understand what I'm trying to say. We each have our own characteristics, even though we're identical twins. Only we know the differences. We're only dependent on each other because of them. Mion seemed more dependent. She always worries about me. If somebody gives her a cookie, she'll divide it in two and give one half to me. If somebody gives her a candy, she'll wait until I said it was okay to eat it. On the contrary, I'm cold. I don't care about the others if I'm satisfied. I put the candy in my mouth right away. I have to emphasize that I don't hate her, and I'm well aware that she loves me. We both know that. Mion must have been hesitating to put the candy of the successor in her mouth and was waiting to see if I was okay with that. Do your best, Mion. I'll do my best as Shion, too. Tapped her forehead with my fist lightly. Mion put her forehead against my fist as if trying to feel the warmth. She's Mion, and I'm Shion. She's the successor of the Sonozaki family, and I'm just a vagabond. That isn't a distinct... Onryu is definitely not the best. She's very bad. She's a very bad old lady. She's so bad.
She's a very grumpy old lady.
That isn't a distinction, but rather our individuality. We shouldn't worry too much about the other anymore. We should feel relaxed, living as who we are with our own characteristics. I didn't have to say any of that out loud. You can communicate by touch, just like this. Okay. Thanks, Shion. No worries, Mion. Let's talk to each other whenever we want to, like we've always been. That'll never change, okay? Okay. Okay. Mion kept nodding with her forehead against my fist. I said goodbye to Mion before it turning to evening. We had talked about things that had happened during my time away, and I enjoyed having that chat between sisters very much. We were able to dissolve our unsettled emotions. There we go.
We were able to
dissolve our fox. We didn't used to do that. Maybe it's because we haven't seen each other for over a year. It was late afternoon. My heart felt lighter now. I stretched and looked up at the sky. The sky was clear, blue, and far away. No matter how tall I grow, I'll never be able to touch that sky. I'm Shion Sonozaki, a girl who escaped from the life she was forced to live. Nobody will praise me for what I did, and for what I'm going to do. This is what I chose. You think maturely too. I psyched myself up. I should go shopping for dinner. Though I have Kasai's help, I need to save money. I love junk food, but it'd be cheaper to cook. Ironically, the culinary classes from that evil school will come in candy.
Did you just say come in candy?
No, I might be a little tired. And then I go to the shopping district in Kamiyashiki.
Kamiyashiki?
Kamiyashiki. If I'm going there, then I need to take the other street. Cool breeze in the late afternoon felt nice on my skin. I came to the door when I was putting stuff I brought into the fridge. Oh, I'm here! Ah, wait a sec, I'm coming!
Did you go grocery shopping? You must be tired.
I don't get tired from grocery shopping. Oh, do you want dinner? I bought enough for you too.
Is that alright? If you say so, I'd be happy to.
Because I looked curious at what I had cooked. You don't look like you believe in my cooking skills. You'll pay for that later.
Are you putting those in the refrigerator? I'll do it.
Oh, thanks. Is this amount of rice enough for two? Here I go. Kasai skillfully packed food in the refrigerator while glancing at each item in turn. He noticed something.
Shion-san, do you still hate canned food?
I hadn't bought any. That was, of course, on purpose.
It must be hard to avoid it.
I know it's illogical. Maybe I could eat it if someone forced me to. No, on second thought, I definitely couldn't.
I feel really sorry. I know I was out of line then. Please forget about that story.
Ah, shut up! Men shouldn't hang around in the kitchen. Go watch TV or something. Kasai chuckled and left. I know that sounds stupid, but I hate canned food. If somebody told me this was canned food in the meal I just ate, I'd throw up. It started with a silly thing. Kasai told me a horror story when I was little. You know, one of those urban legends about meat made from an unknown source? Like those rumors about how there's worm meat mixed in with burger patties or dog meat in beef bowls. Kasai had fun telling me one of those stories because of how scared I got. He had fun, but I obviously didn't. I even started to cry in the canned food section of the supermarket. That's how much I hated it. I didn't freak out like that anymore, but I still don't like canned food. Since I don't like it, I don't force myself, and I now live my life naturally avoiding canned food.
To be honest, canned food is pretty nasty more often than not.
Yeah. One of the big differences between us twins is that Mion doesn't have this issue. Kasai feels responsible for this, but he can't get rid of that fear. Still, a flaw like this is actually a pretty good thing, otherwise I'd be too perfect. God nerfed me! Kasai, set the table, won't you?
That smells good. Thank you for doing this.
If this isn't enough food, you can go get a beef bowl place later on or something. And don't turn off the TV. I hate having dinner in silence.
Thank you for the meal.
So, what is it, Kasai? You came here for something, didn't you? I handed him a cup of tea. I could wait until dinner was over, but I wanted to get to the point quickly.
I thought I should wait until we finished, but would you mind if I talked while eating?
It's been bugging me since you got here. It'd be much easier for me to eat if you started talking now.
We received a phone call from the school today.
Of course. Today? That's late. Sounds like they didn't want to make it public. So, what happened?
Akane-san took the call. She said she was going to tell your father when the time is right.
Kane-san is my mom. That's what Kasai calls her, as he's known her since before her marriage. So, what did she say? I was lucky she answered the phone, since she's relatively on my side.
Other than calling you a brat, she didn't seem surprised by this outcome.
I see. So she hasn't told Dad yet.
She's probably waiting for the right moment. I think she's going to in a couple of days.
Dad's on the hag side, so he'll definitely talk to her if he hears about it. Then she'll have her men bring me to her, and depending on my explanation, make me offer a finger or two. Harry.
I wish you could laugh it off, but please remember, you're not the only one who... Ouch!
You're eating too fast. I cooked too much rice and miso soup, so you have to have another round. Or at least 3 helpings, alright? Shoving food in face. No, okay, look. Kidney beans are fine in a bag, in a can, I guess. And canned tuna is decent, but, like, I just prefer to have fresher food that isn't just completely soaked up in sodium.
That is the main bad thing about canned food is the amount of sodium.
Yep, and sodium makes me sick, don't you know? So I have to be very careful.
I don't mind sodium so much myself, but...
Well, that's you. You don't have an issue processing sodium. I do. A few days later, Mion told me that the hag had heard about my escape. Great. So, how'd she take it? She was furious. She said that if you were in Okiyamiya, she'd get you right away. Scary. And? Is Dad doing anything? They'll hold a family council soon to see if any of the family members are hiding you. It doesn't look like she'll get the Greenhorn search for you all over town, though. Holding a family council means that things will remain in the hag's hands alone. She won't search the town for me. It's like she's unofficially approving my presence. Of course, I'll get caught immediately if they find out in a large public place. Seems like Mom did a lot to help me. I can tell she's being supportive. It's a long story, but my mom's sort of an outlaw, even though she's one of the Sonozaki bloodline. She has a katana. A long time ago, she had a huge fight with the hag because she hated the family rules and traditions. She was even excommunicated. My mom was supposed to be the successor, but she was deprived of the title and Sis took her place instead. While she's quiet now, Mom is still an outlaw. She's always been on my side, because I also hate rules and tradition. Dad is flaring up at first, but Mom pacified him. You can't win against her after all. Okay, thanks. Let me know if something comes up. If things really go bad, I'm ready to leave town. I can't let Kasai, Uncle Yoshiro, or Mom lose face. Sis, I know what you're thinking. You're asking yourself, why only I have to go through this, even though you are twins, aren't you? Mion is silent. That meant yes. It isn't fair that only you have to live like this. It's absolutely not. Thanks. I appreciate your feelings. Tell me when you want to go out. I'll arrange my plans so that I can trade places with you. She sounded apologetic. I should quite agree with her. Oh, yawning. Oh, fuck. That's so much to read. She sticks to things a little too much. Once she goes down, she'll stay there for a while. So I just told her simply, thanks. That's really nice of you. Okay, I'm hanging up now. Talk to you later. Oh, these big-time interludes are really kind of throwing me off.
I know, because it makes you think, oh...
I've been doing this a lot longer, and it's just like, no, it's only been an hour and a half. Tips, yep. Smudge diary. Let's read this tip. Hello, sister. You say goodbye, and I say hello. Hello, hello. Sadako is crying while hiding behind my back. She's been crying while clinging onto me, so my back was wet with her tears and snot.
Yuck.
My aunt has been screaming hysterically, but she looked tired now. Suddenly realized this was already past 1 in the morning. She vomited out a series of screams one last time, finally called it quits. Sadako seemed exhausted. She was looking down in a state of shock. Even after my aunt rocked away, she didn't realize she had even been freed. So I stroked her head and told her, "It's over, Sadako." Sadako twitched. Her eyes grew bright again and tears rolled down her cheeks. She looked up at my face. Oh, good, back to suffering. She knew it was over, but wanted to hear it directly from me. She begged me with a look. To be honest, I was really exhausted too. You know, by all accounts, I should have you reading this, because this is all from Sadoshi's point of view.
Oh yeah, that's true, eh?
But I'll keep reading it. So I felt a bit annoyed when she tried to make me say it. It's that shit. but I need to pacify her. So I gently told her that she wanted to hear. She's done with her scolding. So let's go to sleep. Alright? Sadako clung to me while her tears continued to fall. She's crying again silently. Sadako is shivering pitifully. Her small back reminded me that there was nobody else to protect her. Here, go brush your teeth, make your bed, and go to bed. Go to sleep. Sadako smiled faintly and nodded. I felt dizzy. As I was released from the strain, a harsh drowsiness fell upon me. When Sadako was washing her face, I went to the toilet. I zoned out while watching my pee. My dizziness, I almost missed the shot. I feel like I was being sucked into the toilet. I couldn't remember what caused it. Why did my aunt start screaming today? I mean, yeah, but, like, that's just because he hasn't passed puberty yet. And you know what? Fuck that. I can do whatever I want. I've been voicing all the other characters beforehand anyways. I need a break from voicing everyone. It's a very quiet afternoon as always. Since I can't go outside as myself, I have to match schedules with Mion when I go shopping. Gotten used to it by now, so it's no longer a hassle. Because of this, I naturally have to buy things in bulk. Today, I shuttled between shops in my home. I got this, I got that. Oh wait, isn't it 100 yen sale day today? I forgot this. Being in a good mood, I spun around with my arms spread out. I felt like a little whirlwind. My arm hit a motorcycle parked on the sidewalk. It obviously wasn't where it was supposed to be. Now, what the... Who parked this motorcycle here?
It was I!
God damn it, Oreo. I gave it a kick with no hesitation. There were 3 motorcycles lined up there in a row. They all felt like dominoes. This feels awfully familiar, like a certain situation with Keiichi.
Kicks the motorcycle, everything else falls over.
Fuck! It was a beautiful sight. This was fun, I thought. Being in such a good mood made me leave my guard down. I didn't realize that the owners of the motorcycles were right nearby. It looked pretty scary. They grabbed me by the neck and dragged me into a dark alley.
Oh.
Then they called me all kinds of names. Everything was happening too quickly for me to grasp what was going on.
The fuck you doing, bitch? What you think you're doing, huh? Fucking bash your head in, bitch. Gonna pay for what you did.
Whoa, they can't really talk properly. I didn't have a clue what they were saying. I had to translate their alien tongue into normal human words in order to understand. They were very upset because you knocked down... We are very upset because you knocked down our motorcycles. You should immediately pay for the repair and compensate. Yeah, that's probably it. That's our offer. What do you say? We'll be happy to listen to your opinion. Something like that. Sorry, I don't think I can continue interpreting.
What you said?
I know what they're trying to say, but somebody has to warn them about the way they park their motorcycles. It wouldn't be fair to those who obey the rules if there's no punishment for those who disobey them. This is an accident, but it must also be God's will. But God can use me to punish these guys, but how can you compensate me later? I heaved a huge sigh. Of course, I wasn't afraid in this situation at all, because it wasn't a dangerous one for me. These 3 guys were yelling at the top of their lungs at a girl. It didn't look good doing it, and they had too many disadvantages. First, there's the differences in genders and the number of people. Even if I did something wrong, as men shouting at a woman, it didn't make them look like they were in the right. Add to that, there were 3 of them. It already looked like it was going to get violent. Second, the location. Taking a girl into a dark, narrow alleyway is already a bad idea, and on top of that, they're asking for money, not just an apology. Thanks to these facts, the public will be on my side. So it was a fight they couldn't possibly win. The only way for them to win would be to take my money before someone finds out. Considering that, taking me into this narrow, secluded alleyway might have been a smart move, since fewer people will find out about the situation.
Huh? You listening or not?
I know how slim their chances of winning were. From the very beginning, they picked the wrong girl. I'm Mion Tsunozaki now. It'd be foolish to mug her in Okiyamiya. Soon enough, the people of Hinamizawa would notice me and gather around. They don't spare mercy for their enemies, no matter what. The punks didn't know this area well. If they did, they'd know how silly it is to rob me on. Plus, the alleyway wasn't as empty as they had assumed. The side street is a shortcut which local people frequently use on their way home. In the late afternoon, many people will be passing through here. That time had almost arrived. If I held off a little longer, the street would soon be filled with people, and the punks would have to go away. I didn't have to do anything. I just had to wait in order to win. This was a simple fight like that. While they could hurl abusive language at me or lift me up by my collar, they weren't actually going to resort to violence. Cheers to the educational system for ingraining ladies' first mindset. But as a wicked person, I wanted to toy with them a bit, even though I could win this by waiting. I wanted to paint them as even more villainous, and drive them into a corner that would be even harder to talk their way out of. A demonic desire was rearing its horns. To put it plainly, I need only to act as the poor, helpless victim a little further. Like the pathetic, pitiful, tragic heroine everyone wants to sympathize with. In a case like this, I shouldn't start crying immediately because they'd get nervous and draw back. If this were a truly threatening situation, it would work, but I needed something different here. Shion, Jesus Christ. I'd pretend to be strong at first. In fact, I thought, why don't I challenge them? And eventually I'd start trembling, my voice would fade, and I'd get tears in my eyes. It'd be even better if I played the role of a strong girl who's slowly giving in to fear. Ian and I would probably be the only ones who are capable of pulling off that kind of stuff. Well, I'm probably way better than her. Why don't you let me go now? I already apologized. I talked back with a little hesitation. Am I getting tears yet? Yes! By the way, I heard men can't shed tears on command. I feel sorry for them. Oh. Well, can't shed tears on command. The three punks faltered a bit due to my sudden change in attitude, but they soon started yelling at me again. I had to keep it going. This is the way they blatantly looked like they were picking on a helpless girl. Please, forgive me.
What you doing? What's with this girl, huh? Maybe we should apologize like that from the start.
Looked like they were laying off a bit. Did I overdo it a little? It'd be boring if they let me go now. At that moment. I think this is Satoshi. He's a blonde, punk ass bitch. Which is why he's voiced by a girl, to be fair.
Alright, so should I voice him then?
Here, I'll do his voice for just this one. Cut it out! Don't you see she's crying? Stop it! A boy around my age appeared. He was skinny. He looked weak. He looked younger than he probably was. He also looked smart. He bravely glared at the punks.
What the hell? Who the fuck are you? Back the fuck off your...
The punks turned away from me to face the boy instead. The boy looked a bit agitated when the punks started yelling at him. They sure were ruthless, but the boy must have known that from the beginning. He must have known that he was going into a dangerous situation, yet he didn't hesitate. Fucking say something! Why don't you answer us? He must have wanted to shout back at them, but he probably never used that kind of language in his life, so he couldn't have expressed his feelings out loud. He might not even know what to say, so he just kept on glaring at him. To let them know that he wasn't going anywhere. The three punks, though, might have thought he was just at a loss of words in his fear, but I knew different. The boy was overpowering them with nothing but his will. The punks were losing, so they resorted to violence. Oof! Satoshi! They grabbed him and knocked him down. They hit, kicked, and tossed him around. It looked painful, but I knew. It was his victory. Yeah, but he's still getting beat up. In the end, local passersby stopped the punks. They made no further fuss and just went away. The boy stood up. He was covered in dust. He smiled when our eyes met and asked me if I was alright. He didn't look particularly okay himself, though. How could you step in a fight when you obviously couldn't win? Pick your opponents better next time. He's skinny, he looks weak and younger than he actually is.
He really does look like you could just pick him up and toss him into a trash can with one hand.
Fucking nerd! Well, he's on the baseball team, though, so...
That don't mean nothing.
That's a victory. I'd rather lose. I don't know. I kind of go with, like, Shion's original version, which was, make them feel like they're losing immediately instead of,
Well, now you gotta soy Satoshi.
I hesitated at first.
He laughed, saying that he was watching from the beginning. That meant he had the option to walk away. But instead, he worked with the courage and stepped in. That was reckless, not brave. Aw, look at that nerd. Look at his face.
You're being a little harsh, Mion. Should at least say thank you. I saw you crying.
No, I wasn't crying. That was just an act.
Okay.
Hey! You don't believe me, do you? Do you really think I'd cry?
No. Nobody believed Mion Shonozaki would cry when punks bullied her.
Why are you laughing? You really don't believe that was an act? I'd never cry.
I believe you.
I realized one thing. He must be one of my Opsis's friends. He doesn't seem to realize I'm her twin. He thought I was Mion in a different hairstyle. Mion and I had lived separately since before we went to elementary school. Mion was in Hinamizawa, and I was in Okiyama. I lived in a totally different environment from her, so it's not strange that people don't know me. Actually, only very few people know I exist. I almost told him that I'm not Mion, but I managed to stop myself. Shion shouldn't be here. He's from Hinamizawa. It wouldn't be good if he thought he saw a Mion look alike in Okiyama, so I had to act like Mion. Dealing with him could be more difficult than handling those punks.
Well, I was just relieved because you seem to have a girly side after all.
You sound hostile. What exactly do you mean by that?
I thought you kicked those guys' butts in with some crazy martial arts. So I was really surprised when you just started crying.
Hey! Like I said, I was acting. Weren't you listening at all? He gently put his hand on top of my head and stroked it as if stroking a kitten. I could remember somebody doing this to me when I was little, but it's been quite a while since someone stroked my head. I didn't know what to do. Why did it make me so embarrassed? Face reddened all at once. I couldn't say anything. Hey, are you making fun of me? I started in embarrassment. He looked calm, as if he was used to doing this.
Whatever. Aren't you glad, though?
Glad? What do you mean?
Well, you didn't get hurt.
He smiled while he kept stroking my head. His smile looked divine. He wasn't going to stay for long. He'd already saved me from those guys, after all.
Well, I need to be going. So I should head off now.
Oh, okay. I wanted to go through all the steps of meeting someone for the first time, but he didn't. As far as he was concerned, he had just saved a friend from danger and wanted to leave quickly to avoid seeming pretentious. He and Mion must be friends who knew each other well. So I couldn't bring myself to ask, well, what's your name? Mion's friend smiled once again. His smile looked refreshing as a clear blue sky. This time he smiled a bit mischievously.
Don't worry, I won't tell anybody you were crying. Well, nobody would believe it if I told them anyway. Nobody would ever believe that our invincible class president cried.
I'm gonna punch him. He patted the dust off his butt once again. He walked back to the sunny main road, away from the dark alley, and he turned around.
See you. In school tomorrow, I mean.
Yeah. See you in school. He disappeared into the bright lit street. Continued to sit in the gloomy alleyway. I could no longer see him. He's just staring absently at the bright light. This is the first time I met Satoshi-kun. He's never allowed to walk freely under the sun. I met a boy on a sunny day. How come a perverse girl like me fell in love with his innocence? Notebook page 5. This is structured way differently than the other chapters. This is throwing me off. That would be Kasai. No, wait, no, I'm sorry. That would be Mion. Never mind. That must be Satoshi. He looks like what you described, and he has a habit of stroking people's heads. Uh-huh. His name is Satoshi-kun, eh? The boy from earlier is called Satoshi Hojo-kun. Mion said that he's always daydreaming, so she didn't believe that he saved me at first. His little sister is always kicking his butt. Uh-huh. He has a little sister. Yeah, her name is Sadako. She's funny and shrewd, but is quick to cry when she's cornered. She's fun to watch, but things have been rough for her lately, so she's feeling a bit down. His sister came up naturally in the conversation, tried to soak up every scrap of information about Satoshi-kun. Why? Why am I trying to ask so much about him? As I asked myself that, a feeling I got when he stroked my head came back to me. I must have been blushing. Hello? Shion? Huh? Ah! Sorry. I'm here, I'm listening. To start, I hear Sadako's on bad terms with her aunt. Sadoshi's mature, so he knows how to conduct himself, but when things go bad, when bad things happen, Sadako really lets herself go. What Sis told me was very interesting. She told me that the parents of Satoshi-kun and his little sister were dead. Satoshi-kun and Sadako are now living with their aunt and uncle. They don't seem like very respectable people. They're always fighting, and the uncle is cheating on the aunt. He mostly lives with his mistress. Satoshi-kun and Sadako entered into that unwelcome environment. What surprises me most is the fact that Satoshi-kun's parents were the Hojo couple who were the leaders of the pro-dam activists. That fact must have added something to the situation. I don't know what kind of stance the uncle and aunt took during the dam conflict, but they must have taken some indirect blows. Satoshi-kun's parents died after bothering them so much, and even left them their children. The uncle and aunt obviously can't love those kids. Things have gotten worse this past year, too. Women can be really nasty bullies. Sometimes it doesn't matter who they're bullying, even if it's a kid. On top of that, women tend to care less about propriety than men. As a result, Sadako seemed exhausted with it all. I can imagine Satoshi bravely protecting his little sister, just like when he saved me and got his ass handed to him. I mean, what? So he must be exhausted too, right? Huh? He must be covering for Sadako all the time. So wouldn't you normally assume that he's also feeling worn out? Well, I don't know. Had I said something wrong? Mion sounded a bit taken aback. So that meant Mion can't tell how he's feeling, because he's always wearing that blank look. So she never considered it. How can she be that insensitive even though she's around him all the time? I was amazed to realize that. You're looking way too much into it, Shion. Way too much. Well, anyway, what does he usually do? He looks smart, so does he read a lot of books? Yeah, you're right. He likes to read. He's now reading. What's it called? I continued asking about him. About what he likes, dislikes, what he thinks about. I asked Sis all these questions because I wanted to know more about him. It was the first time I'd ever been that interested in somebody. I didn't want to admit that I had feelings like that. Did I fall in love with him just because of a stroke in the head? Am I stupid or what? When I remember the feeling of his hand on my head, my heart feels tingly. I tried doing it myself, but it didn't feel the same. Doesn't really work. I'm stupid. What am I doing stroking my own head? Sis, I'm done for. I became stupid. What? Why are you laughing? In that weird voice. You wouldn't understand this feeling, Sis. When would I see him again? I felt as if I was suffocating life, as if my suffocating life had finally grown brighter. There's the red flag. There's many red flags there. There's so many red flags. Everything's gonna only end badly.
She's very slowly going insane.
No, she's just in love. Like a stupid version of love. The life I lived really was beginning to suffocate me. I couldn't go out freely, and I always had to make arrangements with Mion before going to work. I thought my life would improve after escaping from school, but in reality it wasn't that easy. It's not healthy to live like this for too long, without any friends to hang out with. I felt like I was hibernating. I started to feel the dangers of falling into boredom. All I could think of was how Satoshi Hojo... All I could think of now was Satoshi Hojo-kun's face. I only met him briefly. And my encounter with him had a great impact on my new life. It felt like something exciting was going to happen. Really, I was hyped up like a little kid. That's my elbow. The more I thought about it, I realized I've been thinking about him a lot lately. This might be a crush. Or absolute, fucking, idolization, like you just said. I felt a little ridiculous idolizing him in such a romantic way, though. I think it's a little harder than a crush, Shion. Then, out of the blue, I got a chance to see him again. Oh? I saw a familiar face at twilight in the park. He was sitting on the swing. He looked like he was zoning out, or maybe deep in thought. He didn't notice me, even though I was right in front of him. Reminding myself to speak and act like Mion before talking to him. Hey, what are you doing here?
Mion, you surprised me.
You don't look surprised. I've been standing here for a couple minutes now. Didn't you notice me?
Have you? Sorry, I didn't...
He smiled self-derisively and shrugged. He looked depressed, like something was troubling him. Is something bugging you? You can talk to me if you want. Maybe I can help.
No, that's okay.
Come on, I owe you one from before, Satoshi-kun. Or maybe you don't think this old man can be of any help? Don't know how mighty I can be?
I'm okay. You don't have to help me.
Huh. What is it then? Are you saying that you don't need any help from a girl? Thinking him unfair, I puffed up my cheeks in a sulky gesture. Satoshi-kun noticed that and smiled.
No, Mion. It's just, I messed up my swing when they needed me most.
I mentally rifled through all the information about Satoshi-kun that Sis had given me. He doesn't look like much of an athlete, but apparently Satoshi-kun belongs to a junior baseball team. They called the Hinamizawa Fighters. Doubt he's very skilled, since I didn't hear much about his contributions to the team. Maybe that's why he doesn't tell many people that he's a member. Given how down he felt as a result of messing up, though, he must be fairly dedicated. I deduced that all that from what Sis told me, and carefully chose my words as to sound like her. What? Are you feeling down just because of that?
Hey.
Nerd!
It's not that easy to get over, Mion.
I pat his back while chuckling. Satoshi-kun could probably call me insensitive. Would probably call me insensitive. I knew I should listen to him rather than trying to cheer him up. Acting like Sis would probably be the wrong thing to do in this case, but I had no choice. This is just how she'd react in this situation. Instead of feeling down, you should practice even harder and aim for your chance, you know? Practice makes perfect here. Well, if you want to beat the opposing pitcher so badly, you're willing to pull some tricks. I might be able to help you in a few ways.
There's just no point if I cheat.
Satoshi-kun hung his head after letting his regrets out with a big sigh. Surrender, defeat, resignation were all visible in the gesture of his. Are you quick to give up or persistent? If you're a man, then don't you want to be a star and have your 15 minutes of fame? Satoshi-kun grinned and said yes.
Of course, that'd be wonderful. But that's not why I play baseball. I just have fun batting and throwing the ball. You can understand that, right?
This old man isn't sure. I only love games that I can win. I don't understand how you can love something when you can't even be the best at it.
That really sounds like you, Mion.
Having realized I was trying to make him feel better, he laughed along. He didn't look depressed anymore. Guess he was just feeling down because of the game. He wasn't as depressed as I thought. Maybe I just jumped to conclusions when I saw him sitting alone in the park.
You always put forth your best effort to win. That's admirable, I think. Yeah, it definitely is.
He smiled gently and stood up, and he started stroking my head. All of a sudden. I totally wasn't prepared for that. Whoa. I thought this when he did this last time, but how can he stroke somebody's head so easily? I felt like I was turned into a little kid. Memories from kindergarten came to mind. My face must have been red. I felt embarrassed, but I also was like I was in heaven. Satoshi-kun stroked me as though petting a cat.
Wow.
Meow. I was blushing with my eyes closed.
You just said ears.
Freaking. How does one close ears? Who knows? I felt helpless, like a girl being treated by the dentist with her mouth open and eyes shut. That's terrifying. That's a terrifying thought. Shion, what the fuck? Satoshi-kun didn't seem to notice my feelings at all. He didn't seem to care. I hate him. With my eyes still closed, I waited for him to finish. He suddenly withdrew his hand.
I need to get going. My aunt wants some stuff, so I have to go grocery shopping.
Okay. My voice faltered. So embarrassed. I'm going shopping, too.
What? You are? I thought the maids did all your household stuff.
Shoot. I messed up. In the main Sonozaki house, the maids do everything. Therefore, Mion hardly ever goes grocery shopping, and she bragged to some people about that. I should have known better. Still, it wouldn't be too hard to find an excuse. I just happened to be in town, so I thought I'd help out with the household stuff. Is that a problem?
That doesn't sound like you. You always avoid doing the boring stuff like that.
You talk too much. Stop stroking my head! Satoshi-kun seemed to be having fun with how embarrassed I'd get when he'd pat me. Anyway, I managed to talk my way out of it. He didn't seem to really care about the details. While walking with Satoshi-kun in the shopping district of Kami-Ishiki, it suddenly occurred to me, why had I messed up? I'd known Mion would never go grocery shopping. What an amateurish mistake. Did I make that mistake when I was pretending to be Mion? No, I was probably speaking as Shion. I couldn't keep lying to myself. I had to just admit. It was simply because I wanted to spend as much time with Satoshi-kun as possible. It was easy to see why I was so attached to him. It was attracted. I found something intriguing in my boring life, and I didn't have to feel tense because he thought I was somebody else. Etc., etc. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
His easygoing nature made him fun to be around, and his habit of petting people on the head was fun, too. From these symptoms, I could tell I was embracing the feeling of love. It's a very instantaneous kind of love. That's kind of dangerous.
Isn't that kind of love like that usually lead to really bad things?
Yes! I was just casually enjoying that feeling. It wasn't that I fell in love with him. You just said! Shion, fucking Christ! I was just having fun. I could simply spend some fun time with Satoshi-kun without having to think too much. It's the famous question.
Which one is the broccoli? The green one or the yellow one?
That's cauliflower, Satoshi-kun. Could it be you can't tell lettuce from cabbage either?
I'm not that bad. I'm doing my best here.
Satoshi-kun stared at the heaps of broccoli and cauliflower. After thinking for a while, he reached out for the wrong one. That's not it. Watching you shop is like being on a roller coaster. It's a lot of fun for me, though.
You got me. Sadako can't tell the difference either. Which is broccoli and which one is cauliflower?
You guys are too funny. Sisa told me that Satoshi was a flaky big brother to his nagging little sister. I hadn't met Sadako, but she must have been having a tough time dealing with Satoshi-kun. He stumbles over everything he buys, after all. That's cooking salt! It's mixed with pepper. It's different from regular salt.
Oh, is it? I think I saw salt and pepper in separate in a science experiment once.
Stop making excuses and just put it back on the shelf. This is normal salt. What are you getting next? You're a goddamn disaster.
You're being a great help, Mion.
You look smart, but you have serious issues. I think you should study more.
That's a little harsh. There. Is this it? In it goes.
Ah! That's not it! Don't just throw anything in the basket. Check the price and how many servings it is first. My first impression of Satoshi-kun was that he was strong and reliable. But the more I spoke to him, the more surprised I was at how clumsy and unreliable he was. How do I put it? It's hard to leave him alone. He was dangerous on his own. If he wasn't careful, he might start wondering, do you cross the street when the light is red? Or was it green? And he gets himself run over by a dump truck. Spectroff. Your total is 1780 yen. Do you have a member's card?
Huh? Oh, yes, I do. Huh? Where is it?
Sorry. We can't seem to find it, so we'll be alright for today. Finish checking out, ignoring Satoshi-kun as he fished through his wallet full of receipts.
That was horrible, man. You made me waste points.
Don't go slowly fishing through your wallet to look for your membership card in the middle of the evening's shopping rush. There's a huge line behind us. Didn't you notice all the evil glares from all the old ladies? Listen, at times like that, you should just get it out before reaching the register.
Oh, right. That's good to know.
It's not only when you go shopping. The same thing goes for when you ride a bus. Satoshi-kun, I bet you don't open your wallet and start looking for change until you were about to get off and have to pay while holding up everyone behind you.
No, everyone walks by me and pays their own fare.
You know what that means? You're being a super huge bother to everyone. You need to have a little bit of the money out beforehand. That's just good manners. You can't call somebody that, Shion! Jesus Christ! Do you get it?
Okay. You're scared today, Mion.
Satoshi-kun smiled as if patronizing me. I couldn't believe it. He was definitely the type who made women want to protect him. Sure, he was fine as he was when he was a busybody like me around him. But I couldn't stop worrying about whether he was able to function in society without somebody like that nearby. We got plastic bags and sorted out what we bought. Satoshi-kun put a pack of tofu at the bottom of the bag. I slapped his hand and put it in a milk carton instead. Okay, there we go. Now your aunt won't freak out when she opens the shopping bag in her kitchen.
Thanks. You helped me out a lot. I don't think I'm very good at shopping.
Just shopping? That's definitely not the only thing. Just kidding. I'd realized a few things while spending time with him today. He's not just bad at shopping. He's also chronically clumsy. In general, you could call him a slow thinker. That meant when he stepped into the quarrel with the punks, he must have needed a lot of courage. He might be a simpleton, but he's not that stupid. He's aware of his weaknesses, so he must have been aware of the danger in that situation. He could have chosen to walk away, even though I was in trouble, but he chose to be a man and stepped in. That was really admirable of him. Good boy, you did a great job. There.
What is it? Don't stroke my head.
I'm rewarding you for shopping successfully today. There.
You're making fun of me, aren't you, Mion?
No, I'm not. Can you go home by yourself? Do you know how to get there?
You are making fun of me.
Satoshi-kun, sulky face, flush red. Ah, he's just too cute. Look at this nerd. Look at the nerd. At that point, I caught a glimpse of the billboard from the corner of my eye. Piano lessons. Oh, beep. Abacus class. Junior baseball team. Members wanted. It was posting for the team Satoshi-kun belonged to. It showed the day, time, and place of their next practice. By then, I knew just how flaky he was. I figured he must be the same when playing baseball. Satoshi-kun realized that I was reading the posting. He looked uncomfortable and walked away. I know what you're thinking. I hope you won't come to see me playing baseball, Mion. Am I right? What does that mumbling mean? I know I'm right. Satoshi-kun became quiet after mumbling something. Seems like he couldn't say anything back since I had been right on the money. Satoshi-kun, you're just too cute. Think going silent is a good way to dodge the issue. It might have been the way innocent people like him would react in a situation like that. See you, Satoshi-kun. It's getting dark, so be careful on your way back.
Pop.
Aren't you going home, Mion? To Hinamazawa?
I have to make a stop somewhere first. Don't worry about me.
I'll help you this time. In return.
I'm okay. What are you going to help me with anyway? You should learn to support yourself before you try to help me.
You're really mean today.
He seemed to have some pride, at least. He looked a bit upset because he was teased by a girl, but in contrast, I felt very satisfied. As a result, I forgot to keep my guard up. Me.
Thank you for the help. That was sweet of you.
Whoa! While wearing a bright smile, Satoshi-kun suddenly started stroking my head again. I know he's teasing me, but I can't reject him. Keeps doing it only because he's realized I won't resist. Oh! This son of a bitch!
See you, man. You should get home before it gets dark. See you in school tomorrow.
Yeah. See you in school tomorrow, too. In fact, I wouldn't see him tomorrow at all. Felt awkward, but I had to settle for that. I had to thank Sis for letting me use her name. After I separated from him, I found myself giddy and wishing to see him again as soon as possible. I wanted to know more about him. Couldn't wait for my next chance to see him. Actually, maybe there's something I could do. Just like when I obtained my freedom from St. Lucia's. I could choose how to live my life. Whatever, it wasn't that complicated. I just wanted to tease him more. I wanted him to stroke my head more. And, whatever. I already knew the schedule for his baseball team. God damn it, Shion. You goddamn disaster.
She's a disaster piece.
She is a disaster piece. Oh, Crumple Diary. Hopeless pair.
I love how it's how the
It's broccoli.
It's broccoli.
Not sure if this is Satoshi or...
My aunt finally stopped screaming her hysterical screaming. Today was just like any other day. I can't remember what set her off. Whatever it was. She changed subjects constantly, anyway.
It didn't matter.
She went on past midnight again. The urge to sleep was pounding at the back of my head. Once Sadako had been able to relax, she fell down on the spot and started sleeping until still clinging to my sleeve. I carried Sadako into the bedroom and laid out her futons. Here, Satoko. Your futon is ready. So, get in, okay? Sadako crawled in like a worm. She stopped moving once she was inside. I wished I could go to bed too, but I couldn't. My aunt asked me to do some chores. I had to get toothpaste after school tomorrow. I had to write it down somewhere. I had to make rice for lunch tomorrow. I set the timer. Right, I also had to repile the towels in the bathroom. That's the reason for today's scolding. My aunt will get mad if everything isn't done the way she wants. Oh, and there was something else. I was working at the grocery store the next day. They wanted me to bring an apron. Did we even have an apron in this house? I'd never seen one. My aunt will be sleeping when I go to school, so I won't have time to ask her. What should I do? This man help me get that job. I don't want to screw it up. In that case, why don't I ask Mian about it at school? She might lend me one. Was there anything else? I was envious of Sadako because she got to go to bed. I was pathetic that I'd felt that way.
Oh.
Oh.
And that was a Crumple Diary, too, so he probably, crumpled it up after we wrote it. And it's just like, I don't want Sadako to see this. She'll think terribly. And that's the 2-hour mark, and to which point it's time to go. So everyone have a good night. We'll stream more tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone have a good night. May the gentle music send you off to sleep.